Tiempo Real en su temporada La Quinta Calle llega a la parrilla de UAO Play con contenidos diversos para ustedes. Todos los jueves a la 1:30 de la tarde después del noticiero 90 minutos, emisión central.
UAO Play, lo puedes ver.
Tradiciones.
Yo siempre hablo de la palabra respeto porque me parece que eso prima mucho en mí y en la forma de ser mí.
Historias.
Y yo con un megáfono que nos quedó todo quemado, salía a perifonear que habíamos vuelto a abrir el local para que la gente regresara.
Legado.
Si vos creces en un ambiente donde tenés a tu mamá haciendo una cosa, a tu abuela haciendo lo mismo, pues obviamente se transmite de generación en generación.
Ciudadanas del mundo que escogieron a Cali para vivirla. Colonias, el poder de las migrantes. Episodio de estreno los martes luego de 90 minutos a primera hora, con repetición los martes luego de 90 minutos edición central.
UAO Play, lo puedes ver. UAO Play, lo puedes ver.
Welcome to UOA Speaks English, a radio program made by students for the world.
Hello, good afternoon, bonjour. Welcome to a new episode of UOA Speaks English. My name is Manuel Nocua. I'm a professor in the Languages Institute at Universidad Autónoma de Occidente. Today, we have a very special program from the heart of Toronto. In fact, this amazing educational place is known as the Center of Excellence. Let me welcome the amazing, the outstanding Canadian crew. Magda, are you there?
Hello, UOA Speaks English. I'm Magda Katarzinski, and I'll be one of your hosts for today's show. Today I have the honor of hosting with Alex, Tanya, and Raj. We are all students at Collège Universitaire Glendon, which is a French and Spanish campus that's a part of York University. I'm a French Studies major here at Glendon, and now I'm going to pass it on to my fellow co-hosts so they can introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, my name is Alex. I'm an English major and I'm so happy to be here with you guys to host today's show.
Hey everyone, my name is Tanya and I am a linguistics major. I'm so happy to be here with you guys and I'm honored to be one of the hosts for the show today.
Hi everyone, my name is Rajdi, but I go by Raj by most people. I'm an English major and just like everyone else here, I'm so glad to be here for today's show.
Well, hello, how are you guys? How are we all feeling today?
Oh, I am good. It's a nice day outside. I have no complaints.
It feels so great to feel the warmth outside and to see the sun.
Very true.
Especially after how cold it's been for the last few months.
That's true. Do we have any big plans for the weekend?
Work, school, or work and studying, actually. School is done.
Yeah, actually I do. I'm going to Mexico in like 2 days.
That's awesome.
I'm just working and studying.
Well, awesome, guys. So we've heard that we have a couple of students in Colombia joining us today. And we also heard that Colombia had an entire week off for Semana Santa. So Sebastian and Valentina, how was your Semana Santa?
Hey guys.
Hello, how are you?
Okay.
So yeah, actually my Holy Week was pretty, just for relaxing at home, chilling, and that's it actually. Not a very big trip or something like that. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, for me this Holy Week I was resting at home and that's it. Only resting at home and eat a lot.
Yeah, eating a lot.
Hey guys, how are you? And what about you? Do you have Holy Week in Canada?
So sadly, we don't have Holy Week, but we get the Friday off, so Good Friday, and the Easter Monday off as well.
Yeah. For us, it's just Easter and weekends off.
Okay, it's something,
It's not the same. Okay, today Sebastian and I met you at the UOA campus to interview some people and find out what they know about Canada and its culture, right? So
yeah, more exactly, we want to know how much people know about Canada and the languages they speak there, And so we will start with, let's check actually. Yeah, here we have some members from the UAO students. So yeah, let's start.
Okay.
Can you hold the camera, please? Thank you.
Okay.
So
Hello,
yeah, hello. We are with
Sergio Vasquez.
Hello, Sergio. How are you?
Fine, thanking you.
Can't complain. What about your Holy Week?
It can be better.
Okay, nice. So I have a question for you. What are the languages you think Canada speaks?
I think English.
English? And any other, maybe?
Who can it be? I don't know. French?
French? Okay. Right. Thank you. So the next one is, what do you know about Canada?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay. I mean, maybe that is freezing there or something like that?
Yeah, I hear it. It's a cold place, but I don't know much.
Okay. Thank you. So can we go for another student? Thank you, Sergio. Okay. So right now we are moving into the campus, finding some other students. My partner Valentina got one, so I'm going to travel to there.
Okay. Okay. We are with. Okay. Okay. Hello. We are with
Isabela.
Okay. Hey, Isabela. I have a question for you. What do you know about Canada?
So I know that Canada brings so much opportunities to people from all the world.
Okay. And what do you think about what languages they spoke?
I really don't know. I maybe suspicious English.
Okay. And do you think Other one?
No, I really don't know.
Okay. Thank you, Isabella. Okay, we are search more people here, and I think for this way. Oh my gosh, it's many two people, but I think this guy. Hey, hello. Okay. Please say. Okay. Hello. We are with. What is your name?
With
Your name?
Santiago.
Okay. Hey, Santiago. I have two questions for you. What do you know about Canada?
I know that it's a country where you can go to achieve your goals. It's a developed country, and we can go to study, make arts, make whatever thing.
Okay, perfect. And the second one is, what do you think the people in Canada, what languages they spoke?
Okay, the languages is French and English.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Santiago. And I think another one, and that's it. I'm sorry for my finger. In this moment, we are in the cafeteria. I think this guy maybe. Hey guys, how are you? Okay, you can stand up.
Can you stand up, please?
Okay. Okay, guys. Hello, what is your name?
Alejandro.
Okay, Alejandro, I have two questions for you. What do you know about Canada?
What I know about, I know a lot of people say they have really nice people, that they have a really rich culture, and that is really cool up there.
Okay, that's right. And the second one is, what do you think? What languages?
I speak English and French, depending on the place and where you go, and know anything else.
Perfect. Thanks, Alejandro. And that thing.
Yeah, so
The idea is, well, the people say in Canada.
think Canadians speaks English and kind of French, depends on where you live. And yeah, they think Canada is a really cool place. And
And also, the people don't know about much of the Canada culture.
Yeah.
So for that reason, the idea is see what languages and what is your culture, guys, in the next video.
Yeah, and if you, I mean, just for the Colombian people and the Canadian people, we invite you to comment via chat. What about what do you know about Canada and the languages that they speak there? And yeah, thank you for joining us. We're back with Juan Pablo and Jean Paul in the booth to learn more about Canada. Okay.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Sebastian and Valentina. That was really interesting to know a little bit about the perspective of our very own community in the university. Canada is such a cool place, huh?
Yeah.
What do you think, Juan Pablo?
Well, I don't know much about Canada, but I I think it has beautiful places to know. Especially talking about culture, I don't know much, but I think that it's an interesting place to know.
That's wonderful. So I think, are we ready to go with something else? What's next, guys? What are we gonna do?
Well, now, besides reading some comments, we're going to introduce you to the second video, that is, what languages do you speak?
Hello, UAO Speaks English. We are students from York University's Glendon College.
Welcome to our grammar course for teachers titled The Nuts and Bolts of English.
And we want to show you some of the languages that we speak here in Toronto.
What languages do you speak?
Hi, I'm Alex and I speak French, English, and Italian.
Hi, I'm Tanya. I speak English, Jamaican Patois, and some French and some Italian.
Hi, I'm Magda. I speak Polish, English, and French.
Hi, I'm Esther. I speak Tamil, English, and French.
Hi, I'm Victoria. I speak English, Greek, and French.
Hi, I'm Alexis. I speak French and English.
Hi, I'm Luis. I speak English, French, Armenian, and I'm learning Italian.
Hi, I'm Amanda. I speak English and French.
I'm Stefania. I speak English, French, and Greek.
Hi, I'm Jay. I speak English and French.
Hi, I'm Juliana. I speak English, French, and I'm learning Spanish.
Hi, I'm Julian. I speak French, English, and some Spanish.
Hi, I'm Aditala. I speak French and English.
Hi, I'm Brooke. I speak English, French, Spanish, and I'm learning Anishinaabe.
Hi, I'm Ashwini, and I speak English, French, and Tamil.
Hi, I'm Joyce, and I speak English, French, and Arabic.
Hi, my name is Minju. I speak Korean and English.
So we're ready for our next part, right? So what's next, guys?
Well, it's really amazing to see how diverse Canada is. It might be such a challenge to be able to communicate an idea in the right way to someone who doesn't speak English as their mother tongue. Certainly loved how all of you speak more than language. God, in my defense, I speak a little bit of French. Je m'appelle Paul, j'ai 17 ans. Je ne parle que peu le français. But it's not as good as my English nor my Spanish. Okay, next we are having our Tip Talk section, which is made of a lot of facts about Canadian culture and to the languages spoken there that you will surely like.
We also have an invitation, right, Juan Pablo?
Yes,
What is it?
We also encourage you to follow us on all social media. Remember that you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, that is the Universidad Autónoma de Occidente channel, and we're going to read all the comments through the program. So we invite you to participate through the chat.
And also, don't forget to fill the attendance list. Are we ready for the next part, guys? Let's go.
Many things happened every day at the U. Let's discuss them at
Tip Talk.
Magda, are you there?
Hello. So it was interesting to see that everyone's view of Canada and what they think about our language diversity pretty much consisted of French and English. But for today's Tip Talk, we do have some facts about our language diversity and what it truly looks like to be bilingual in Canada. Did you guys know that according to Statistics Canada, in 2021, the census that was taken, 40% of Canadians can conduct a conversation in more than one language. And that 1 in 4 Canadians know at least more than one mother tongue that is not French and English.
Wow, that's so impressive. It's like 25%, but I think that less than 18% actually do speak both English and French.
You know, it's easy to think that bilingualism in Canada means that most people speak French and English, but in reality, at least in big cities like Toronto, more than 200 languages are spoken from around the world.
That many languages? It must mean each speaker can at least fluently speak 2 languages.
Well, not exactly, because the notion that bilingualism means to know and speak a language fluently is simply inaccurate.
Yeah, this idea comes from the colonized mindset of the monolingual native speaker. Unfortunately, people have the tendency to forget that when a person knows more than one language, their language repertoire impacts their way of thinking and learning. Our repertoire extends past the languages we know and can be applied to other subject areas. To put it into simpler terms, a language repertoire is the idea where we group all the languages, words, and ideas we know from different languages, and we use them all together as one for our benefit.
Great point, Magda. You actually reminded me of a term known as translanguaging. when one uses their full repertoire of languages to assist in their communication and overall language learning.
Translanguaging, huh? I think I've used this concept in some of my second language classes, but I couldn't really remember it until now.
The thing is that some dialects or even some languages and accents are more privileged than others. I'm thinking of how we have certain negative or positive associations that come when we hear different accents. Some are more accepted than others, unfortunately.
This is true. This makes me think of all the times I try to speak Polish with my family and they don't really take me seriously. They think my accent is funny and cute, but having an accent really just means that I speak more than one language.
That can be frustrating at home whenever my family does the same thing whenever I can't use the proper accent. And even in my some of my French classes, my professors will correct me every single word on my accent, and it makes it really difficult for me to communicate without worrying about getting it wrong. And it's too bad that the standard is perfection when in reality an accent is just a representation of the other languages we hold in our repertoires.
Yeah, you're right. I think the standard of perfection comes from the monolingual native speaker that our society unfortunately privileges.
Well, did you guys know that a repertoire of languages is actually proven to be useful when learning?
When learning a second language, the old school method of to entirely eliminate the use of first language is outdated in a sense. Now more than ever, teachers are encouraged to incorporate translanguaging within their classroom, so their education is more plurilingual. Plurilingualism is a concept where we consider multiple languages, while monolingualism, the older school way, is when we're just focused on one.
Well, what does translanguaging look like?
Well, it's looking at all languages as a collective repertoire. For example, in an English class, I can take notes in French so that I can remember them faster and better. And also, it's helpful to make connections from one language to another.
That's true. I normally do this and I make connections from French and English or vice versa, especially when learning grammar. I often find myself comparing both languages when learning either language and I use them to my advantage. This has helped me a lot when learning indirect and direct objects when writing French.
I guess there's more to bilingualism in Canada than people think. I'm curious to know what our audience has to say. Add your comments and let us know what you think.
Let's talk about it more in our live interview.
Hi everyone, my name is Jay, and today we'll be interviewing Professor Ian Martin about bilingualism and plurilingualism.
I'm a professor in the English department at London College. I have been involved with this course because it's part of a certificate in the discipline of teaching English as an international language, which I helped get started about 20 years ago. And as we were just talking, this course, Nuts and Bolts, is an integral part of that. I've also been involved with, as you say, bilingualism and plurilingualism at Glendon, so I'm happy to meet you and to talk about it.
Yes. So my first question is, what languages do you speak?
Well, I mean, today I have spoken Spanish and English. My wife is a Cuban who, interestingly, is not enthusiastic about speaking English, so our relationship is conducted in Spanish. Mm-hmm. And that was my morning, and now I'm speaking English.
Hi there, my name is Stephania, and my question for you is, what is plurilingualism and how does it differ from bilingualism?
I think there are two ways of answering. One is obviously the difference between bi and plura. Mm-hmm. So bi implies two, plura implies more than two. And the second reason, I guess, that we would distinguish is that very often bilingualism implies two monolingualisms, mm-hmm. rather than looking at the interaction between the two languages that are being described. Whereas plurilingualism is very interested not only in the number of languages, but also their interaction. They're in contact with each other. And very typically, a person who would describe themselves as plurilingual would use different languages for different purposes. For example, in my case, as I said, I have a family life which is in Spanish. My academic life is largely in English. I have a social life here, which includes French.
Awesome, thank you. That was a great explanation. Hi, my name is Emma, and my question for Professor Ian Martin is, when I learned French, the teacher was really adamant to using the target language, and how do you think that helps in the classroom?
Well, that's a very good question, Emma, because it often is the case that language teachers believe that they're doing their students a favor by giving them lots of input in the target language, and the more, the better. But what they don't perhaps realize is that when we speak a language, the rest of our languages don't suddenly disappear. They're always there. And I'm sure that even in a French only classroom, an Anglophone student is, as I mentioned in my plurilingualism answer, dancing back and forth between English and French. Not speaking English, perhaps, but running syntactic patterns in English and seeing whether they compute in French. In other words, using English as a kind of crutch or scaffold to improve their understanding of French. So I guess I would be interested in seeing whether that teacher has had any experience with the benefit of using English in a French language classroom.
It's a great answer. I agree. Thank you.
That was so interesting. That was such a cool interview. What do you think, Jean Paul?
Yeah, that was great. Thank you so much for the interview. Taking up Professor Ian's answer, getting a lot of input in the target language. For example, if you are learning English, might be confusing for you. Maybe because you first try to translate what you hear into your first language, process it in your first language, and then provide an answer in the language you're learning. So we are often told that we must think in English or the language we're learning, but that's not a thing that happens in the next morning when you wake up. So something that worked for me was to try to picture myself as a kid who was born in an English speaking country and can translate words to another language they don't know. So they have to learn what that thing means, link it to a picture. So hence, if you try to learn the meaning or definition of a word, or in the language you're learning and link it to a picture in your mind, it's probably you will develop a strong ability to build ideas in that language. Um, Maybe you then will forget how to say things in your first language, but you know how to say it in the language you're learning. Have you ever felt that you could easily explain something in English or other language, but not in Spanish or your first language? Please let us know your opinion in the comments down below, that we want to know your opinion. I'm going to repeat the question. Have you ever felt that you could easily explain something in English or other language you're learning, but you can't in Spanish or your first language? Please let us know in the comment box.
That's really interesting, Jean Paul. Let's look at some comments. Juan Pablo.
Well, I see there are some people saying that English and French are like both taught in elementary school, so it's kind of easy to grow for the people and learn the language of their choice. So I find it interesting because not in all the schools they teach a certain language. So it's good when you learn it by yourself because you're learning something that is interesting for you. Especially, I think it's a good strategy when you hear like music or watch some series in a different language. It's a way to explore an alternative and enjoy like a cultural experience.
That was so interesting. Thanks, Juan Pablo. Miren Dija. I'm sorry for my pronunciation. I think learning more than one language should be very helpful. Completely agree with you. We live in a modern world, globalized world, and we need to connect with absolutely all the people we can worldwide. And that only can be done through languages. In my own case, I will say that it's really interesting to think about that connection between your mother tongue and the foreign one you're learning, because at least for me, sometimes when I speak in English, I think in English, I feel, Like it's like a completely different person inside of me. What do you think about that, guys?
Yeah, I think it's right. Maybe you can mix up your languages, the language your first language and the language you're learning, and maybe you can forget a word in Spanish or your first language, but you remember it in the language you're learning. So it might be good.
Jean Paul, what about that comment over there?
Yeah, it says, "Hi, this is Oliver. I got some from ENSL 2700. Translanguaging help us when we try to learn Spanish because French and English are a little bit similar." Yes, you're right, Kevenda. They're very similar, and you can like associate words between two languages, and that's a good part of it. From the languages derivated from Latin, so that's a good point. Thank you so much for your comment.
That's wonderful. Alex, what's next, man?
How interesting situation to show how plurilingualism works when languages and cultures come in contact. And now we are moving on to our drama time. And I have to say, I can easily relate to that situation that's portrayed in the drama time. Because we will see the adventures of a French student just like me. His name is Julian, who is coming to Canada.
Waking up early, taking the bus, studying for midterms. Oh no, it's raining again. This is
Drama time!
Salut papa, salut maman, je viens juste d'arriver à l'université. Le voyage s'est super bien passé. Et c'est incroyable, tout est écrit en anglais et en français. C'est vraiment un pays bilingue. Je vous envoie des photos dès que je peux. Bonjour, comment ça va?
Bonjour, ça va très bien. Et toi?
Ça va super, je viens juste d'arriver au Canada, mon vol était assez long, mais en vrai ça l'a fait. Et du coup, j'aurais juste besoin de ma carte étudiante pour accéder à ma chambre, s'il te plaît.
Oui. Wait, can you repeat that in English?
Oh, sorry, I thought you spoke French.
Come see, come ça. I stopped after grade 9.
Oh, okay, well, I just arrived, I just need my student ID card, please.
For sure. Can I get your name?
Yes, Julian Tetlin, please.
Can you say that in English?
It's my name.
Oh, my bad. Can you repeat that?
Julian Tetlin.
Perfect. Au revoir.
Thank you.
Hi, Julian. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you, and you?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm going downtown. Do you want to join?
Oh, yes, of course. Are you taking the metro?
What do you mean by the metro? I'm not going grocery shopping. Oh, you mean the subway?
Oh, yes, sorry. What are you going to do?
I'm just going to grab a French vanilla and a beaver tail.
What does she mean? A beaver's tail? What do you mean?
A beaver tail. No, not the actual beaver. A beaver tail as in dessert. This.
Ah, it makes way more sense.
Do you want to go eat at the restaurant?
Oh, yes, why not?
Yeah, I have some menu.
Where's the French?
Oh, it's because we're in a Korean neighborhood, and usually the language depends on the neighborhood and the community.
Oh, okay.
Welcome to Timmy's. What can I do for you?
A French vanilla and a donut for me, please.
And I get a coffee with 2 sugars and 2 creams, please.
Oh, you mean a double-double. Okay, that would be a total of $6.
Here you go.
Oh, you're $1 short. Do you have a loonie?
Oh, I've got a toonie.
Okay, great. Here's your dollar and change.
What does it mean, loonie and toonie?
Oh, it's just $1 with a loonie in it, and toonie is just $2.
Oh, okay. Canada is very different from what I was expecting. Canada is definitely beyond bilingualism.
Bonjour, bienvenue à l'hôtel du Grand Montréal. Comment puis-je vous aider aujourd'hui?
Désolé, je n'ai pas booké.
You want to book a room?
Oui, exactement. Je suis pratiqué mon français.
Okay, sure. How long is your stay?
Julian was right. Bilingualism is so complicated in Canada.
Juan Pablo?
I find it very interesting. What do you think, guys, about the drama time?
Man, that was so cool, especially thinking about like the beaver tail. I was thinking just about the animal. You know what? I also think it's really interesting and very different from what we're used to. The fact that you use the language according to the neighborhood and culture, right, Jean Paul?
Yeah, my attention got due to the fact that in Canada, you go to a place and they might speak English, and you cross the street and they speak French. So that's very might sound confusing, but that's nice because it shows how diverse Canada is.
So let's ask the audience.
Yes, guys, we invite you to participate through the chat and ask you what you think about this drama time.
So as we receive some comments, Magda, let's go ahead and you guys will help us also reading some of the comments that you're going to see in the screen.
Well, before we get into our thoughts about the drama time, I think we should clarify some terms that we use in Canada. So a loon, if anyone didn't know, is actually a type of bird. It's found here in Canada. That's why we call it a loonie, as well as Timmy's. So that is our beloved brand here in Canada for coffee. I recommend that if anyone is planning a trip to Canada, that they should also go grab themselves a beaver tail, which, like Adtola said, it is a fried doughy dessert that we usually put cinnamon and sugar on. The coffee, I believe, is kind of like one badless. I'm not sure how you say it. I think you guys can help me out. I heard it's a Colombian coffee brand.
Which one?
I think she means Juan Valdez.
Yeah, she's referring to Juan Valdez.
Yes.
That's the most known brand for sure. Before we move on with the comments, I have one question for you guys. You were speaking about the $1 and $2 coin, right? So we saw it in the video, but I wasn't able to see the animals. What do you have in your coins, guys?
So on the $1 coin is the loon, which was the bird I was talking about. It kind of looks like a duck. And on the $2 coin, it's it's called the toonie, and we have a polar bear on there for some reason.
That's so interesting. Do you have polar bears in Canada, guys?
I think so.
I believe
somewhere,
so, but
not here.
Not where you would see them.
We have
That's
other
so
bears,
amazing.
but polar bears not here.
No, you have to go a lot further up north to see a polar bear.
Yeah.
Interesting. So why don't you check the comments? Bring it on.
Okay, I see some people saying that they think it was really cool and interesting, especially because it seems like people from Colombia don't know what it was a beaver tail. Also, I'm reading that Joseph Camilo says that it's incredible that there are words so similar in both languages, but they mean something else. Yeah, I think it even used to happen in Spanish, that you have like some words, but it doesn't mean the same depending on the context.
Look at that amazing comment we have on the screen, guys. Andres Delgado says he just learned about loonies and toonies. So we're ready to go and spend our money in Canada.
Yes, I'm dying to try the beaver tail. Sounds delicious.
For sure. That's like number
so
one in our list. Do we have more comments? Yes. Ooh, look at Coro, Jean Paul.
Yeah, Coral says it is so cool have many cultures in the same place. Yeah, actually in Canada there are a lot of cultures, and that's amazing because you can learn a lot from people, and you will not always find the same things in people. You will always learn something new. That's something we all have learned in this experience.
Oh my God. You have someone in the audience that agrees with you, Jean Paul. Paula Stephanie Castaneda says, it's interesting. I agree with Jean Paul. It's really interesting how languages change. That's a fact.
That's true, Paula. Languages vary too much in Canada. That's so true.
Well, also Cabanda Oliver says that the thing with the French name, when they pronounce it the wrong way, like instead of Oliver, most people will pronounce Oliver, I think, and forget the I before the E. So it will say something like Oliver.
Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah. Well,
Rash, what do you say?
It's Olivier.
Olivier?
It's
Olivier.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. There's an I right before the E at the end.
Oh God, that's really, really interesting. So, what else do we need to cover over there? Raj was going to give us some examples, right?
Um, I mean, the drama time is a great example of some of the intolerance that you can see from native speakers towards learners of a language, or those who are speaking in their non-dominant language or their second language, if that's easier to understand.
Yeah, and there's also this interesting dynamic that happens when English speakers, also known as Anglophones here in Canada, in use French or English in Quebec, which is our French province. Either Anglophones are frowned upon for speaking English, or in a situation like Adetala's in the drama time, where she speaks French, the Francophones don't, if they don't think your English is good enough, they might start speaking English to you even when you're trying your best. So there's that interesting dynamic of language exchange where there's, with accents as we mentioned before, and just preferences on how it's spoken.
Yeah, I agree with you because unfortunately, the same thing happens to Francophones who are Canadian French speakers when they go to France.
Mhm.
Sometimes those in France would encourage the Francophones to just speak English because they think that the Quebec French will sound like disgusting or different or just sometimes funny. So now that we have looked at the languages in Canada and discussed some important ideas about language learning and language use, let's see how much you have learned. Raj, are you ready to get us started?
Of course. So our next part is called Get It Right.
Games, trivia, and a lot of fun. All you gotta do is get it right.
So we have created a few trivia questions on bilingualism and languages spoken in Canada. So let's get started. For question one, I want to ask how many people in Canada can have a conversation in English and French? Is it 5.5 million people, 6.1 million, 6.6 million, or 7.1 million?
Please let us know your answers in the chat. Oh, someone says over there 5.5 million. True.
So just for the sake of time, I'll continue to the correct answer. It is C, 6.6 million people. In 2021, a census was taken, and over 18% of people in Canada could have a conversation in both English and French. But this also includes people who speak other languages as well. Like we said earlier, more than 40% of Canadians can talk in both, in a different language besides English and French. Talk about diversity.
All right, let's go on to question 2. So this is a true or false question. So bilingualism in Canada, does it mean that we can only speak English and French fluently and they are equal, or is that false?
Let's check, guys. What do you think?
I actually think that is true, but it's kind of, I feel it's a tricky question because in the video, in the drama time, we saw other types of language. So it's a hard question, but seems that people in the comments are saying that it's true. So I'm going to go with true too.
What do you say, Jean-Paul?
I think the opposite because maybe people from different province, I think is certainly that, speak different languages, but they don't necessarily need to speak English and French the same equally fluently. So I think that's false. They may speak English and French equally fluently, or they could speak more English, less French, or the opposite.
Great.
So,
You see, many people say true. Go ahead. Sorry.
Jean-Paul, no worries. Jean-Paul, you were right, actually. It is false. So this is a common assumption about bilingualism, but bilingualism does not mean that you have to equally be fluent in the two languages. The notion pretty much means the notion of a perfectly bilingual person doesn't really exist. So while French and English are both official languages of Canada, Canadians speak a variety of languages in a variety of quantities. From knowing one language to being multilingual, there's a lot of diversity and language repertoires that are used in Canada.
All right, so let's move on to question number 3, which is, which group of words reflects the type of English used in Canada? Answer number 1, loony, timbit, tuni, A. Answer number 2, loo, jumper, and bloke. Answer number 3, behavior, cutter, and otter. And answer number 4, maid, lorry, and rubbish.
What do you think, guys? Juan Pablo.
I think that this is easier because you don't have like just to try to understand more than the text says, because we saw a little bit in the drama time. So I'm gonna go with the A. But
Okay.
I have the question with the timid. So I want to know the answer.
Okay. So for sure, our crew back in Canada, they're going to let us know. Let's
so
check.
the correct answer. Sorry.
Okay, Paulo says A. Okay, one more. Ana Sofia says A too. Monica A. They're catching it. El Checho says A too. So please, Canadian team, could you tell us the correct answer, please?
Yeah, so you're all right. The correct answer to the multiple choice question is A. So it's loony, timbit, tuni, and A. Because indeed, this group of words reflects the type of English used in Canada because they're uniquely Canadian English words. Loony, as we saw before, refers to the $1 coin in Canada, which features an image of a loon, like it's a type of bird. Tuni, on the contrary, is the $2 coin in Canada, and timbit is a small donut ball sold at the Tim Hortons. A is an interjection commonly used at the end of a sentence in Canadian English to express agreement, to seek confirmation or clarification. And the other answer choices do not reflect Canadian English. Loo, jumper, and bloke are more commonly used in British English, and behavior, cutter, and otter are commonly used in American English, and mate, lorry, and rubbish are more commonly used in British and Australian English.
Alex, I have a big question about the Timbit. Man, I know it's like a kind of dough, but I don't understand. Could you please give us like a deeper explanation about it?
To be honest, I've never had a timbit. What I was here in Canada was like small balls of like made of dough. It's like sugar on it.
It's like a tiny donut.
Yeah, so a donut has a hole in it. Think of taking out when you take out the inside of a donut, you're making a timbit.
That's basically
okay.
Yeah. Just the small donut.
So
they put whatever toppings.
And what do you put on top of it, guys?
Nothing.
Or
nothing. You just put it
Or I
straight,
mean-
no sugar,
Well,
maple syrup.
they have a birthday cake flavor, chocolate.
Yeah. They're more flavored. Like it's you can get like a chocolate flavored one, a sprinkled flavored one. I guess that one has something on it, or like apple cinnamon. So it's just basically a donut flavor, like a donut, but a small ball of a donut.
Bite-sized donuts.
I have a question. Can you buy a timbit with a loony or with a tuni?
Perfect.
That's it, a bite-sized donut.
So how much do you pay like for a box? Do you buy like a box? 12 Timbits? Or how do you buy that? I think we're not listening to them. Okay, so as we check what's going on with the sound, guys, Santiago, let's just go ahead with question 4. Okay, Juan Pablo, please.
Okay, so for the question number 4, we have fill in the blanks. So in big cities like Toronto, around, and there's the question mark, like the space for the answer, languages from around the world are spoken. So the question are how many?
Right. So in big cities like Toronto, around how many languages from around the world are spoken? What do you say, guys? Let us know in the comments. 40 languages, 75, 129, or 200 languages? Marco Santiago says 200. Wow, that's a lot. A? No, A, Luis. See you there, man. 40, Marianne, 200 languages? That's a lot. Supercraft says 75.
It's hard to guess because there are tons of language, but you can imagine that there says that is in like the big cities. So maybe in a cultural exchange we can find that kind of that that many languages. But I don't know if 200s are like the
That's
exactly.
a lot.
Yes.
So what's your guess?
I'm gonna go with 129.
That's mine too. What do you say, Jean Paul?
Yeah, I'm gonna say 129 too.
Okay, so that's our answer. Let's go back to Tanya. Tanya, can you hear us? It seems like you can hear us, but we can't hear you guys. Okay, so we have to let you know the answer for this question. In fact, in big cities like Toronto, more than 200 languages from around the world are spoken. Just imagine that intercultural experience. It's so interesting, right?
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool. But also, people in the chat were like not so agree because there were tons of different answers. There were people saying that 75, 200, 129. So I think it was an answer that nobody was expecting.
Okay, yeah, it's a big, big number. Wow. Let's just go ahead, Santiago, with question 5. Jean Paul.
Question 5. Choose the right answer. What are the top 3 languages spoken in Canada after English and French? Is it Mandarin, Spanish, Arabic, or Cantonese, Tagalog, and Korean, or Cantonese, Mandarin, and Punjabi? Question 5.
Yeah. Let's repeat the question.
Okay. Choose the right answer. What are the top 3 languages spoken in Canada after English and French? Do you think, guys, is it Mandarin, Spanish, and Arabic? Or maybe Cantonese, Tagalog, and Korean? Or Cantonese, Mandarin, and Punjabi? Please let us know your answer in the comment box.
Wonderful. So, as we receive some answers, why don't we invite everyone to join us in our social media, guys?
Of course, remember that you can subscribe to this channel that is the Universidad Autónoma de Occidente's official channel. So we have some special programs for the rest of the weeks. So we invite you not only to this one. We're having tons programming coming. So we invite you to stay alert and active the notifications to we will remember, the YouTube will remember you when we're gonna be live.
Yeah, we even have like almost 100 people watching us today, guys.
Yeah, we also encourage you to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook as UAO Speaks English. Remember, UAO WOW Speaks English. And make sure you're already subscribed to our YouTube channel of Universidad Autónoma Occidente, so you don't miss any of the awesome programs we have prepared for you.
Yeah, because this is just starting. So I was checking some of the comments, and I would like to take a little time just to greet all my students. Hello, guys. I've seen your comments. Please stay connected. And I was reading Samuel's answer. Samuel said Cantonese, Mandarin, and Punjabi. What else? What do you think? Let me check those comments, please. Teacher Rocio.
I'm reading Adom Diar Jaja that says Mandarin, Spanish, and Arabic.
Okay, Gabriela Enciso Herrera says speaking and knowing several languages is very important. That's right, Gabriela. But what languages do they speak in Canada? Carlos Arturo Guerrero says Mandarin, Spanish, and Arabic. Magda, are you there? Nope. So let's check the answer for this question. Adon dear Jaja, Mandarin, Spanish, and Arabic. Well, guys, we have to let you know that the third option is the correct answer. And we're about to give you the top 5 languages spoken in Canada. So in first place, we have English, French, Mandarin, Cantonese, and Punjabi in 5th place. Let's just go ahead with question 6. Question 6 says, fill in the blank, literature. What concept is this? We have a blank, and then it says, the concept of using all the languages we know to communicate, learn, and use a particular language. What concept is this? Let us know in the comments. The concept of using all the languages we know to communicate, learn, and use a particular language.
I remember that we saw a few that are not only bilingual, we also see plurilingual, and there were other options. So we invite you to investigate a little bit and remember what we see at the interview with the Professor Ian. So he was telling us about that and his experience with his wife, because I actually find it interesting because I don't know how is that experience talking to another person and maybe knowing that person, but in his language, not in your native language. So how can we call that?
And he said that her wife didn't like that he spoke English, right? So they have to keep speaking in Spanish so she could understand what he said. So that's very like curious, like a little bit funny, because maybe you are saying something in English and your wife says no, say it in Spanish, or you say, hey, bring, please give me the cheese, and she says no, es queso. So that's very funny.
That's true, man. Well, in fact, we just got an answer, but I wanted to give them a clue before that. It's related to a transition, right?
Yes.
So Diana Romero says universal language. Maybe? What other
Miss Paula
choices?
Stefania says polyglot.
Samuel says
Maybe.
language interference or language transfer. Okay.
I think they're getting close.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I see a comment here of Andres Delgado who says translanguaging. Did we talk about this concept, guys?
Polyglot. What was the word Professor Ian used? Teacher Rocio, can you please show us the right answer in the comments? We have that the answer, tun tun tun. Thank you, Ana Sofia. It's translanguaging. You're right. Good job. So, and that was the last question of the Get It Right section. Guys, well, we are about to close today's program. Were we able to solve our microphone problems back in Canada? Tanja, Alex, Magda, Rash, Marlon, are you there, guys? No, it seems like we couldn't hear you for the last part, and that was what I was waiting for, because all the students and all the people connected through our social media, they want to ask you questions. So I think this is going to be like an opportunity for another program, maybe, guys, that you can tell us like your very own perspectives, because trust me, I'm sure everyone in here want to know more about your amazing, great, outstanding country. What do you think, guys?
I think that people also could leave the question that they had in the comment section, because Actually, Canada has tons of interesting places to know, just not by languages. Also, we know about some desserts, some food, uh, even money, some expressions.
Uh-huh. I agree with you, man. So we're about to finish our program. I'm so sorry we couldn't hear you anymore, guys, but it was our pleasure to have you here. So we would like to thank everyone who had a part in making today's show happen. A special thanks for you guys in Toronto. You're welcome here in Cali whenever you want to visit. Just remember, Cali is the capital of salsa. So if you want to learn how to dance, you're welcome. Jean Paul. I'm sorry, Jean Paul, Juan Pablo. Guys, so that's it for today.
You were correct also, because Japol is also like the translation of my
So,
name.
English, Spanish, Spanish, English.
Yeah.
Even French.
That was so good.
Thank you so much for joining us in this program.
We're here.
We enjoyed a lot to share with you this experience, and we're hopefully hearing from you in the next opportunity.
Marlon.
Yes.
Hello. Hi.
I don't know what happened, some connectivity issue, but we're here and we are very happy to host this show with you. And we also have Alexis there helping us with the teleprompter. And it was a wonderful show. If you want, you can leave questions in the comments and we'll answer them. Okay?
We'd also like to our fellow 3595 classmates. They weren't hosting with us, but they put in a lot of work to make this show. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
All right.
That was awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
See you next week.
Okay. Bye.
Welcome to UAO Speaks English, a radio program made by students for the world.